And on today's unbiased hard take, JB, it's back. Doordash Part 2 is back. So, Super Bowl predictions, my friend. This is a loaded football podcast. You don't want to miss it. We're going to start by me and JB making our second annual Super Bowl predictions and starting off the Doordash Season 2 Revenge of JB or Chandler going for a repeat. JB?
Well, you heard it. Let's get the show on the road. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. This is JB.
And I'm Chandler, and this is the unbiased hard take. And on today's unbiased hard take, JB, Super Bowl predictions, my friend. I've been waiting for this for a while because last year I bet the Niners would win. But before we go into Super Bowl predictions, JB, we're going to give a little bit of a fantasy football update. There wasn't really too much going on in the fantasy league this week. The only thing that did happen was I realized that I screwed up and drafted both my defensive players at the same bye week. So what I did is I added Bobby Wagner and I dropped Bobby Wagner and added Bernard from the Bills. Bernard had over 100 tackles last year. Going to be a fantasy monster, I think, so long as he can duplicate that success. I dropped Bobby Wagner. He's a little old. God, Bernard, he's younger. Had a good season last year. So that is all the update we have this week for the fantasy football. Keep up to date on Facebook and YouTube for that. JB, with that, my friend, I'm going to let you go first. What is your Super Bowl prediction for this coming season? Now that preseason's over, camps are over, roster cuts have been made, everything.
Steelers and Packers. Rematch. Wouldn't that be something?
I mean, both were playoff teams last year. Not the most absurd thing in the world.
Yep. Packers did get one more game ahead of us, but other than that, all jokes aside, I mean, looking at everything, Chiefs did get. Well, I mean, Chiefs won last year, and they had no receivers at all. They did lose a few things on defense. They lost Darius Sneed, one of their main corners, to the Titans, and which, by the way, Sneed was not happy when he got traded. So, but they did get some key players. They do have the fastest receiver. Even though I say that's false, I think Calvin Austin did beat it, but, because there is a clip that it was faster. But the timers was just not correct. But anyways, I'm probably...
OJB.
Yeah. I mean, they're fast. But I'm going to say it's probably... Dang, this is going to be a pretty tough one. Because I have a few directions that I want to go to. Because I got the Ravens and the Chiefs. I got the 49ers again. I have 49ers. I got the Lions. Because they did so much things.
Yes. I'm interested to see where you go.
Don't see the...
No, I don't either.
I don't see the Texans yet. They're going to be close. They're going to be in the conference championship, and they're going to lose, I do believe. I don't see the Dolphins.
No.
Because it's going to be in that cold weather, and they're until the Dolphins can actually show that they can beat people in the winter, then I'll definitely change my mind and be like, "Yep, Dolphins," or will be
Or
in the.
go get go do so well in the regular season that you get home field advantage, and then everyone has to come to beautiful Miami. How about that, Dolphins? Got an idea for you.
I don't see the Bills because they don't got no offensive weapons. Um, I do kind of see the Packers. I don't see the Falcons, even though they've added a good quarterback. Um, but I don't see
Captain Kirk.
Kirk Cousins.
Captain Kirk.
Sad to say, I'm not gonna. It's not the Steelers this year, but I do believe they're gonna make it far. They really are. They did show some spite of a lot of good things in the regular season, or not regular season, the preseason. Um, if Aaron Rod and for the Jets, if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy and not take 4 snaps and get injured, I could see the Jets going to the Super Bowl.
I have him as my last seed in the playoffs, but I have him losing round one. I don't think they'll. I mean, going into the season, I just don't see them as a Super Bowl contender. I have them borderline playoff with Pittsburgh. As we talked about last week. Go check that out.
You know what? I really hate to say it, but I'm tired of seeing it. This is like the Patriots all over again. I think the Chiefs are probably going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Winning against who?
Winning.
I'm keeping this, and you got to give me a score because I had a score. It just popped in my head. I don't know. It was just a.
The Lions.
A score of.
I really do see the Lions going super far this year. They about did it that one year or last year, but I do believe they're going to be really good this year. Score.
Got two good offensive teams.
Two really good offensive teams. Dang it. $33-27.
Okay, JB with a one possession touchdown game. JB has Kansas City defeating Detroit. Okay, and JB, I see where you're coming from. I just think personally, and I sat down, I thought, okay, it could very well be the Chiefs. I don't think it's going to be. Nobody's three-peated. This was the first repeat since the Patriots 20 years ago. No one has three-peated since truly before the Super Bowl era when Lombardi's Packers won in 65, 66, and 67. It's been that long, JB, that Lombardi and Bart Starr were coaching, playing. Hard to do. They're getting a little bit older. They did lose some defensive players. They still don't have all necessarily the best receiving weapons. Worthy has drop problems. Yeah, he's fast, but being fast don't mean crap if you drop the ball. Travis Kelce's getting a little age on him, and let's not act like they had a great regular season last year. So I think they'll make the playoffs. I think they're going to contend. I think they're going to be right into the thick of things, but I don't think they win. There's one team I think is just better than them on a roster perspective. I think the Texans will go to the Super Bowl this season. I think Houston does it this season. And Here's why. They have their franchise quarterback and finally their franchise coach. They have Pro Bowlers in 5 different position categories. Pro Bowlers in 5 different categories on position. They added Stephon Diggs to a wide receiver room that already has Nico Collins, Tank Dell, and one of the most underrated tight ends in Dalton Schultz. So why now for Houston? What makes a difference? Okay. Who's the greatest quarterback of all time? Probably Matt Schaub, I would say. He got their first playoff win of all time. You could argue Deshaun Watson. It's a very young team. Very young team, JB. So Houston has a chance to do something special here. They have outstanding weapons. They have now, finally, a good running game. What stopped them last year? Damian Pierce averaged under 3 yards a carry. They have Joe Mixon, who's an 1,000-yard back now. All these receivers. And we'll say, oh, what about the defense? Well, they have Will Anderson Jr., who's the rookie of the year last year. And went out and got Daniel Hunter, who for the Vikings had 16.5 sacks last year, JB. Houston's coming.
Mm-hmm.
They won a playoff game. They won a playoff game last year. They don't really play in the hardest division. So I think Houston goes to the Super Bowl this year, JB. I'm really impressed with what they've done across the board. And then my other pick, I agree with you. I hate to say this. I think the NFC Championship game is Green Bay and Detroit to go to the Super Bowl. But I think Detroit wins the division. I think this is at Ford Field, and I think they learned their mistake from last time. JB, they outplayed San Francisco most of that NFC Championship game. They almost beat them. And then let's go on the
second
fact
half
that
screwed them over.
Bingo. And then Aiden Hutchinson has literally improved in statistics every year in the NFL. So I look for him to make a jump towards Defensive Player of the Year, possibly, or at least in the running for it. And their offense is amazing. And let's not act like Jared Goff hasn't already been to a Super Bowl. He can do it. They got Montgomery, Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And their defense. Their defense is what stopped them last year. It was atrocious. So what'd they do? They went out and got Terrion Arnold. They went out and drafted 3 defensive backs in their first 4 picks, 2 corners and a safety. They went out and addressed their secondary problem. The only weakness on that team was their pass coverage. It sucked. If any of these rookies do well, it'll suck this year. I think Detroit goes to the Super Bowl, and I think the Texans win. I think the Texans win the Super Bowl. They win their first Lombardi trophy ever. 2 teams who have never been to the Super Bowl will go to the Super Bowl, and the Texans win it on a walk-off field goal with 2 seconds left in the fourth quarter, 31-28.
You really thought about this.
I did. I looked deep into it. I did. I'm like, okay. JB, I just don't see anyone three-peating. And with San Francisco, I'm tired of San Francisco. I don't want to hear about them. They get to the Super Bowl or dang near the end every time and they lose. They're choke artists. I'm tired. I don't want to hear San Francisco anymore. I'm tired of hearing them. So I think Detroit and I think Houston, JP. I think Houston and Kansas City will play to go to the Super Bowl. Houston wins. I think Detroit and Green Bay play to go to the Super Bowl and Detroit wins. I hate to say that as a Packers fan, but that's my true unbiased opinion on the Super Bowl this year.
Well, we had the NFC team, right? Or hopefully.
Hopefully not. That's what I'll say.
Hopefully not. Hopefully, I really do want to see the Steelers and Packers rematch. I want to see that. But with the firepower that the Steelers has now, we have 2 really good quarterbacks. We have a good. I know you. I seen that face. I seen it. I would say this. Justin Fields has really shocked me in the preseason. He has shocked me. The ways that he played. He only missed 1 ball. Only dropped 1, or receivers dropped 1 pass. No picks. And very few rushing yards. So he's.
I I like your
He's
faith in your team, JB.
well, I have to. I'm not gonna be like one of those fans that talks crap about him. It's like, yeah, it's my favorite team, but this is why we suck.
That sounds like me, especially with frickin' Carlson. And here's the good news: he's not part of the team anymore because Anders Carlson was cut today. Cut. He did not make the team. He is gone. See ya. Goodbye, Flanderson. You will not be missed. Get out of here. So, Greg Joseph is the kicker. However, he did lose the kicking battle in training camp somehow. But at least the kicker is not Flanderson.
But with all else being said, we picked up a lot of people. One during the off season. Our receiving core got 10 times better than what last year was. Our defense is stacked. Literally stacked. And possibly we probably already got the rookie of the year, Peyton Wilson. He's showing great. He was fantastic during the preseason. So he's already showing true veteran already. And I think he's going to be our next Ryan Shazier, minus the spinal injury.
Oh, it's so messed
I
up.
really do miss him though. He was a freaking nature. Every single time, cold or not, pre-game warm up, shirt was off, looking like a mean machine. Man, that boy. If he was not injured this right now, I think we would have had a Super Bowl. Our defense would be indestructible. Honestly. Because ever since he got hurt, our linebacker core was shot. Like,
I mean, you had to bring Miles Jack out of retirement last year, for Christ's sake.
yeah, I mean, ever since he got injured, our linebacker core has been crap. Like, literally. Like ever since. It's like, name one good linebacker that we had other than Ryan Shazier after his injury. I can't really think of anybody.
Well, you got Highsmith and TJ Watt.
They're not middle linebackers, though.
Right, okay. I see what you're
They're
saying, okay.
outside linebackers. For the middle linebacker core, who do we have prior to his injury?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Not a middle linebacker, no.
Like, no one that can fill his shoes. And now, there's, I don't know if you've seen the podcast or not, but with Luke Kuechly, he said he sees a lot of himself in Peyton Wilson. And I could see that.
I mean, Luke Kuechly helped get Carolina to a Super Bowl. So, I mean, if that can be the case, that'd be great. That best case scenario of Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, I mean we have to keep. But the only thing that's I'm concerned about is his injury prior. But when he played in college, though, that man is a beast on the field. So hopefully I think he'll slowly rise up in the starter position at the closely to the end of the middle to the end of the season. Excuse me. But I think for now, I think it's Queen is going to be our main linebacker, and I'm glad that he came in because without if we didn't have Queen, if we didn't pick up Queen during the off season,
That Pittsburgh defense is scary. And, I think we're both we are both rooting for a Green Bay Pittsburgh Super Bowl, and it's realistic. We were both playoff teams last year. It is a realistic thing. It sounds like JB's going with Kansas City three-peating for the first time since Lombardi beating Detroit, and Chandler going with two teams who have never been to the Super Bowl before, and the youngest team in NFL history, winning the Super Bowl finally over the Lions. So, there are the unbiased hard takes Super Bowl predictions for this coming season. And mind you, we did pretty well last season, JB, on that. We did.
We did. I don't know who won, who had the right prediction last year.
You almost. You had San Francisco. No, you had Kansas City beating San Francisco. You nailed it exactly. I had San Francisco losing to Cincinnati. So I had it half right. I predicted one team right. You predicted them both. So we both were relatively decent last year at it. You got me on the Super Bowl prediction, but JB, something you did not get me at was Doordash competition, my friend. And the
Yep.
Doordash competition is a marathon, not a sprint. So with that, JB, season 2, my friend. Just let that soak in for a minute. Season 2.
Season 2 of the Doordash. Let's get it.
And yep,
Redemption.
absolutely. Yeah,
Redemption year.
we're coming for that repeat. We're coming for that repeat. With free food on the line. And this year, there's inflation.
Yay. Good old
So
inflation.
maybe make sure you go out and vote. Not saying who to vote for, just make sure you go out and vote this November. Please make a difference. With that, JB, we are going to jump right on in to opening night. JB, Baltimore visits Kansas City. Opening night ceremony, the defending champions in their house. JB, who do you got?
Oh,
It begins. Season 2. His first pick of his redemption tour. The first pick is Jamarcus Russell.
you know what? I think the Ravens come out on top. And here's why. Kansas City is not really good. They do not play well in week 1. Ever. Last year, they had a rough start. They had a rough start last year. They lost week 1. And the year before, I do believe they also lost week 1 as well. So, they have a reputation of not playing well in week 1. Or in this case, in the early of the season. So, I'm picking the Ravens on this one just for the fact that one, Ravens offense is deadly. Got Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, and Mark Andrews, and all of them. And the Chiefs did lose a few key players on the defense, like we said before. But yeah, I'm picking the Ravens week 1.
And our first pick is opposite JB. Ah, yes. My first pick of my going back to back, baby. I'm picking Kansas City to win this game. I think this is going to be a very good game. I hope Baltimore wins because I'm just tired of Kansas City, to be honest with you. But I think Kansas City's the defending champions. I'm not going to pick against the defending champions until they finally lose. I will pick Kansas City every week until they lose. They're the one with the hardware. They got the last 2 Lombardis. Until someone finally freaking beats them, I can't say anything. Give me Kansas City. And then, JB, the first game in Brazil, Friday night game, JB, in Sao Paulo. I hope I said that right. I don't know. I'm not from freaking Brazil. Green Bay at Philadelphia. Obviously, it's a Philadelphia home game that they gave away, so this would technically be at Philly, but we are in Brazil.
The only two teams that actually can wear green in the stadium. Fans cannot, by the way.
They picked the two greenest teams to play.
They can wear their actual jerseys, but the fans cannot wear no green at all.
Here's the good news. You'll still see cheeseheads everywhere.
But for me, I'm gonna pick the Packers on this one. Just for the fact that, yes, even though the Eagles got Saquon Barkley and they picked up a few key players on their defense, but I don't think their offense is not going to be that deadly, in my opinion. And I think their defense is going to be a little slugfest. And the Packers.
Yeah, they ignored that side of the.
They did.
Go ahead, my bad.
And even though there was breaking news today, and Chandler pointed this one out, A.J. Dillon is out for the season for a neck injury. So it's now Josh Jacobs and whoever the third string is right now.
Marshawn Lloyd was our third-round running back, and Emmanuel Wilson, who has impressed in preseason and late last year, are our running backs on our roster.
So there we go. There's your rotation for the Packers running backs situation. But the Packers offense was cooking pretty good last year. It also surprised a lot of people. Surprised me a little bit, honestly. But the Packers defense looks a lot better. They looked really good in the preseason with that new coach,
Jeff Hafley from Boston College.
and they had that defense pretty good last year too. That defense was probably one of the top notches defense in college. So I'm picking the Packers on this one.
I actually am too, and it's because of this. The Packers and Eagles were like total opposites. One went left, one went right. Green Bay started slow and then ended hot. God, we made the playoffs when we actually had less than a 5% chance to make it at one point, and we made the playoffs. We had a winning record. Not only did we do that, but we went into Dallas and thrashed the best team in the NFC. And then we went to San Francisco and put a scare in them and would have won had Flanderson made that kick. So, no excuse. They still won. But Philadelphia started hot last year. And God, did they play horrid at the end of the season and got thrashed against Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
JB. They didn't win the division. They collapsed at the end of last year. Nick Sirianni was not fired, and some people think he should have been. He's on the hot seat. They fired Andy Reid, JB. You don't think they'll fire Nick Sirianni? They'll fire Nick Sirianni if things don't go well this year.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been talk that him and Jalen Hurts' relationship isn't that good. I wonder if Philadelphia comes out flat and has a rough start to the season, JB. Give me Green Bay. With that, moving on here now, we are into finally Sunday games, so a little bit of opening Sunday normalcy. Oh boy. The Carolina Panthers at the New Orleans Saints, JB. A division game to start the year.
Oh boy.
Can't wait for that one.
I'm gonna pick the Saints. Panthers really didn't do too much during the offseason. They did pick up Deontay Johnson from the Steelers. I think That's the only good receiver that they have other than Adam Thielen, but he's old and washed at this point. So I'm going, and the Saints, they are the Saints. They're a very sneaky team. Um, they're at points where they will not be talked about, and all of a sudden, they have a shot in the playoffs. We're like, where did this come from? I think the only thing that stopped them last year because of Derek Carr and his injuries. So I'm picking the Saints week 1.
I am too. And to go, and I'm not picking the Saints because I think they're going to be a playoff team. I don't. I think they'll win
No.
about 8-9 games, probably get clean and blow it like Derek Carr always does. I've defended Derek Carr in the past. I thought the Saints would win a division last year, and they finished with a winning record at 9-8 and missed the playoffs. That's what Derek Carr does. Derek Carr is the very definition of mid. His Raider teams were always pretty mid, and now his Saints teams are mid too, because that's what he is. He's mid. So the Saints will be mid. They're going to go out there and beat a really crappy Panthers team. It has no running back. They drafted a running back who's not going to be ready for the initial start of the season. I mean, Bryce Young looks atrocious. Their owner, I hate there is a disgrace and an embarrassment. So give me the Saints here. I think they'll start the season off right. They're a good defensive team. I think they win easily. Then JB, the Minnesota Vikings at the New York Football Giants. Who you got, my friend?
Two very crappy teams. Let's see. The Vikings really doesn't have a quarterback. They got Sam Darnold as their starting quarterback since JJ McCarthy got injured and is out for the season.
That I won't laugh at. Injuries are not fun. Sam Darnold is funny. The injuries are not.
Since Sam Darnold is the quarterback, I think the Vikings are going to be horrible this year. Even though they have Justin Jefferson, it does not matter. Does not matter one bit. Sam Darnold's the quarterback. He's horrible. And New York Giants is about in the same boat. They got horrible. Ever since they lost Saquon Barkley. They really didn't, as far as I know, they didn't do anything this offseason. So, give me a tie. It's
You
both
can
teams
pick
suck.
that. It's a thing.
No, I'm not going to do that.
There's always about one weird one a year, though.
This is true. But I don't think it's not going to be this early.
Fair.
Give me the Giants.
Wow.
Give me the Giants. They have a better defense than the Vikings do. And I do believe the Giants is going to move the ball a little bit, not by much.
You know, I thought we'd have the same one here, and we don't. Because I think the Vikings win this game easily. They'll win. They'll blow them out. It'll be over by halftime. And here's why. I don't think the Vikings will be very good. Sam Darnold is not the answer at quarterback. But the Giants, JB, are inept. They're inept in general. Daniel Jones is their quarterback. He looked atrocious in the preseason, throwing multiple interceptions. And then
Wasn't
what
Trey
they
Lance.
do at this, I mean, that's an atrocious too, right? That's what I'm saying. So you got Danny Dimes out there throwing picks in the preseason. There's no Saquon Barkley anymore. You have Malik Neighbors, which is great if they had a quarterback to throw to him. They don't have any weapons. Nothing. The Vikings do. They don't have a quarterback. They have Aaron Jones, which breaks my soul. They have Jordan Addison. They have Justin Jefferson. So I think Sam Darnold's going to go out there and at least do enough to beat the pathetic Giants. I think Sam Darnold's at least good enough to do that with that supporting cast. I mean, they got players around them. They just don't have a quarterback. Giants don't have a quarterback or players. They don't have anything. They don't have anything at all. Not a running back. They don't have a receiver that's proven himself. Nothing. Give me the Vikings here, unfortunately.
I just don't see Sam Darnold doing good in that game.
I don't see either one of them doing good. I just two trash
I
quarterbacks. It's
I
hard to
think
pick.
I think it's just going to be pick central. Honestly, Sam Darnold can barely pick or find an open receiver, and I think that Vikings offensive line got horrible. Is horrible, and the Viking or
EJ,
the Giants' offense or defensive line is really good.
that's one of the only things they have going for them. Yes.
So
And TJ Hawkinson is out at least the first 4 weeks. Hawkinson is on a pup list still. Because, of course, that late season injury last year. So that is to be monitored also for the Vikings. Then moving on, JB, 1 o'clock game still. The New England Patriots and their first game without Bill Belichick as a head coach in a long time. At the Cincinnati Bengals, JB. Joe Burrow's back.
Bengals next. I mean, honestly, really, what has the Patriots done? But they didn't do anything this offseason.
Well, they hit the reset button. They did a lot. They did a lot, but they
It's
hit the
going to
reset button.
be a long time before the Patriots can be a team again. Let's just point it out that way. I mean, look at the Packers and the Steelers, for example. We hit the reset button. This is their rebuilding year. This is the Patriots' rebuilding year. And the Steelers luckily we had a really great coach. Never had a losing season. And then you had the Packers.
Who seem to just be a quarterback factory.
And the
Like, truly.
defense. And defense.
Well, our defense has been. I'm optimistic. Side comment. I'm optimistic about Green Bay's defense, JB, but I've been optimistic before. There's been reasons to be optimistic before. And what's the defense has it seemed to always do in Green Bay? For some reason, we do offense amazing. No one does offense like us. For some reason, we can't figure defense out. So until I see it, I hope Hayfley's the dude. Because if he is, we're quarterback factory. There are teams that can't figure quarterback out.
Well,
Ever.
well, to me, you guys really didn't have a defense after that Super Bowl win.
Not after.
So, I mean, the Packers defense and the quarterback situation has really not been that good. To me, honestly. Like, is the offense been good? Yes. But the
Quarterback situation, you mean?
Yeah. I mean,
that's been outstanding.
Well, yeah. I mean, what I was saying is, it's like the only thing that hurt you guys every year was your guys' defense. If you guys had a better defense, Aaron Rodgers would probably have more Super Bowl rings than just one.
So would Brett Favre.
Exactly. But now I think it's changed this year. I think you guys will have an amazing defense this year. But
Hope.
But yeah,
JB.
I am picking the Bengals over the Patriots. No brainer.
And JB, I absolutely agree with you. New England's starting over. They haven't announced if Brissett or Drake May is their quarterback. Gerard Mayo's the coach now. I mean, I'm not saying he might turn them around in 2 years, but I think it's gonna be a long road, and it's not a good start to have to play Cincinnati in Cincinnati. When Joe Burrow's back, they got T. Higgins, they got they're loaded. They are. They got Moss because they lost Joe Mixon. They got Moss from the Colts. Jamar Chase is expected to play. Thank God for my fantasy team. But yeah, Cincinnati's gonna start hot now. Cincinnati did start slow last year, JB, so that's to be monitored. But I think Cincinnati wins. Slim Shady's gonna do just fine out there.
Yeah, but I mean, even though they did start slow this year or last year, this Patriots team is horrible. They don't even know who their starting quarterback is, so and it's almost week 1.
Speaking of teams that don't know who their quarterback is, JB, who do you got in this one? The Pittsburgh Steelers. Sorry, I had to. That.
Well, I can tell you this much: Russell Wilson is going to start week 1.
Oh yeah, I'm
He's
just giving you.
well, no, it's been reported that Russell Wilson is going to start week 1, and
Right,
if
right, right,
if it gets horrible, Justin Fields is going to be named a starter,
right, right.
and they
I'm just
both
giving you shit.
know that. So they're. But anyways, the Steelers and the Falcons. Everyone is going to pick the Falcons because of one thing and one reason only, is because they got Kirk Cousins. I disagree with everybody. The Falcons really didn't do anything this offseason or made not a lot of noise during this offseason except for one day. And that was signing Kirk Cousins. And yes, they got some young people on offense. They got Drake London, they got Kyle Pitts, they got Bijan Robinson and all that and everything. But come on. That facing against a young Steelers defense that is probably going to be ranked number 1. In my opinion, they're probably going to be the number 1 defense in the league by far. TJ Watt's angry. Alex Highsmith is angry. We got Joey Porter Jr. that locked down their number 1 receiver, the team's receiver. He didn't even get one touchdown on him. And we had better better corners this year. We upgraded our safeties. And we got middle linebackers now. And the Falcons defense really doesn't have nobody I can really think of that's really good.
They did trade for that, I believe, a Judy guy from the Patriots recently, who
Oh,
is a
Matthew
good.
Judon?
He's a good Matthew
Wow.
Judon. Excuse me, yeah,
Wow. Wow. One
a
guy.
guy coming off of an injury.
Wow. I am shocked. All because of one person that can make that team a Super Bowl contender. No. It's Kirk Cousins. He is a meme machine. I'll tell you that. But I'm picking the Steelers. Week 1.
You know,
I think this game is going to shut all the haters up. I think we're going to plow the Falcons.
okay, and I don't think you destroy them. I don't think
Oh,
you
I
plow.
do.
I think you beat them. I really do. I think Pittsburgh wins this game. The Falcons. There's a saying out there that people have lost more money betting on the Falcons than anyone else. Yeah, the Falcons have Kirk Cousins, who, let's not act like, has the best clutch reputation. On top of the fact that the pass rusher that they got is also coming off of an injury. Pittsburgh, who made the playoffs last year with Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, and Mitch Trubisky, who were all literal walking trash cans, have at least upgraded their quarterback situation with Russell Wilson. In my opinion, I don't think Justin Fields is necessarily the answer at quarterback, but I think they've improved with Russell Wilson,
We
and obviously they
basically
have plenty
just
of weapons.
washed. We got rid of all of our quarterbacks and just had a whole new, refreshing quarterback room.
That Steelers defense is going to be enough to carry the team, I think, ultimately.
Oh, it's going to be
Throughout
more
the
than
season,
that.
I think. So I think Pittsburgh Me and you are allowed to flip one team each year in our playoffs, and Pittsburgh will be my. If the Jets start struggling or something like that, I think Pittsburgh's going to be fighting for the playoffs at the end of the day. I think ultimately Pittsburgh. I still think Atlanta wins their division. It's a crappy division, but I think Pittsburgh gets the best of them opening day. I think it's a close game. I think Russell Wilson gets them in field goal range, and they win by one or two. They'll be down. He'll take them down the field enough, and then Boswell will steal the deal for him. Close game. Pittsburgh, though,
I
I
don't think it's
agree.
close. Honestly, I'll be surprised if the Falcons even get a field goal.
Ooh, JB with the hard take. Hey, I'm willing to bet on Pittsburgh, but not to that degree. But you know what? It's opening day, and I like it. JB.
I'll
I'll
say
move
this
on
much:
to
the Steelers' defense is angry.
yes, yes.
I will tell you that much. We the the defense really didn't play good because none of our starters actually played. So
Right. I mean, preseason, you're
they're yeah, preseason it's all about the backups and about teams
mostly
who's
yeah.
going to be the and for a start or fighting for a starting spot, who's going to get it? Who is in game time situation? Who is going to win? Who is going to be under pressure the most? That's the only thing for a preseason, just to get the rust off a little bit here and there, get the game feel back. But this Steelers defense is going to be really angry, going to play really angry this year. I think it's going to be bringing back the Ryan Clark days.
Ooh, I like it. I mean, Patrick Queen, Joey Porter, T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward. I mean,
Keanu
Highsmith. The
Neal
Steelers
and all of our secondary. Keanu Neal
so long.
got suspended. He's bringing the boomstick like Ryan Clark did.
You know, I think Pittsburgh's underrated for sure. With that, JB, we're going to move on to our home state team. JB, who do you have? The Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts opening day. Our home state is
No,
old
this
Indiana.
one is going to be pretty tough
Hmm?
because Anthony Richardson is playing. He's healthy now. Um, but I'm probably going to pick with the Texans on this one because they're a lot better on paper. I mean, honestly, what does the Colts have on defense that can stop the wide receiver trio
Oh no,
and 1,000-yard running back that was actually really good last year for the Bengals, and a really hot start young quarterback that had very little turnovers last year. Literally single digit turnovers. I'm picking the Texans on this one.
Oh yeah, I am too. I think Indy's a sleeper team, possibly. I mean, they had a 9-8 record last year, so Indianapolis was a winning football team last season. They just play in a really hard. So you get Anthony Richardson back. I just don't think he's ready to compete with that Houston team. Houston's experienced now. They got a season under their belt, some playoff feel. They're confident. They're talented. So not only better on paper, I just don't think Anthony Richardson's ready as a thrower enough to keep up with C.J. Stroud in Houston. Um, and you forgot to mention Dalton Schultz. So that's a loaded
Oh
offense
yeah,
in Houston. Right. So I think Houston wins this game easily. I don't think it's really that close. I like Anthony Richardson, but he's more of a running threat right now than a throwing threat, in my opinion. So he needs some tune up. I think he'll get there. He was the best quarterback in that draft class, in my opinion. So give me the Texans. They're ready now. A team I'm not high on, JB. Who do you got? The Arizona Cardinals at the Buffalo Bills.
I don't think the Arizona Cardinals, their offense got a little bit better. Um, but There's a few things that came out on. We don't know if Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to play game week 1 or not. With a few allegations that happened prior. Um, I think there's some legal matter that happened, so don't quote me on it. I just seen something, but I don't know if it's. I really didn't dig deep on it, but
You're talking about the Fanatics lawsuit. Yeah, he can play. He's just there's a little law money. It's a civil thing, not a law thing.
yeah. Well, either thing it's. But I did see something that he was probably not going to play week 1 because of that, but Bills really doesn't have an offense. They got Josh Allen, and who's the receivers? They lost both the main targets. Corey Davis went to another team. I forgot which team. Stephon Diggs went to the Texans. They kept their tight end. I don't even know who the running back is anymore for the Bills, honestly.
I believe it's still James Cook.
Oh, there we go. But I'm going to pick the Cardinals week 1 over the Bills.
Okay. Yeah, per the depth chart, yeah, he's above Ty Johnson. James Cook is their number one. You're going okay.
I think Kyler Murray is going to be going over the top. He's going to be something. So
Well,
I think
I
he's
was
going to do good this season. But I don't
okay.
see the Bills doing really good this year because they don't have any weapons on the offense.
Shakir and Curtis Samuel are their receivers.
Yeah, see.
Yeah, Shakir. So I actually think Buffalo will win this game. I don't think Buffalo's going to be necessarily trash. I have them outside my playoff picture though. I think they're going to beat the teams like Arizona, teams like that, but they're going to struggle against teams better than them. When they start playing these powerhouse teams and things like that, like they're going to lose to Miami, I think, twice. Teams that have been in the playoffs, Kansas City, Baltimore, things like that. Because I'm looking at the Bills. The Bills do not, JB, have a easy schedule. So I think Buffalo wins this game.
Okay.
Moving forward, the Tennessee Titans, the Chicago Bears.
Oh man. It's really get to see Caleb Williams. See if he's going to be the quarterback. Is it going to be the quarterback or is it going to be the cheerleader? Like the longest yard. Uh like once again, two crappy teams. Is Will Levis still gonna show up with a washed up DeAndre Hopkins?
He still had 1,000 yards last year, man. Come on.
I'm gonna pick the Titans.
Wow.
It's not gonna be by
Hey,
much. It's not gonna be by much. I think Caleb Williams is gonna be under pressure. Um, because there's no games where he can sit out for the remainder of the game. He's gonna play all 4 quarters, and I think he's going to crumble in week 1. I don't think he really didn't show any or didn't wow me in the preseason when he played. He didn't. So yeah,
okay.
give me the Titans.
Okay. And I can't believe I'm saying this. We're on a different page. We're starting to off a lot different than the first week. I'm taking Chicago. I don't think Chicago's gonna be good. I think Caleb Williams is gonna be a bust. But the fact that they play Tennessee, that's gonna be one of their early wins. He's gonna go out there, get a little confident, a little cocky, and then he's gonna fall flat on his face. They do have good weapons around him. They improved their running back. Their receiver core is much better, so long as they can stay healthy. The first week of the season, I think, of course, they'll be healthy. Teams don't really have tape on Caleb Williams yet, and it's a Derrick Henry-less Titans team with DeAndre Hopkins, who did have 1,000 yards, but is a bit older, and a Will Levis, who I'm not high on Will Levis. He had a horrible completion efficiency percentage last year. I said it when he was drafted. I'm not high on Will Levis, so I think Chicago wins this game. They have a good enough defense. I think it's going to make Will Levis cry. Marcus Sweat's going to rattle him. I think that Bears defense gets the best of a overrated quarterback, in my opinion. Give me Chicago week 1 only. I hope not. Go Titans. Give me the Bears. I'm trying to get this Doordash. If we got 3 in a row here, JB. Can we get 3 in a row different? Let's see. The Jacksonville Jaguars, JB, at the Miami Dolphins.
I'm picking Miami
Battle of
Dolphins.
Florida.
I'm picking the Miami Dolphins. I think that Jaguars is a good team. They're a sleeper team, but I don't think they're not good enough to stop Waddle, Hill, Mostert, and Tua. I don't think they're not going to stop that core. So yeah, give me the Dolphins.
This is in Miami. Miami always starts the season hot. Mike McDaniels probably has an amazing game plan of craziness ready for us. Odell Beckham will be out in the first few games. They did say, though, that's to be monitored. But like you said, that core is still there. Waddle and Tyreek, Tua, who led the league in passing yards last year, got all that money. So I think Jacksonville's going to be a good game. Jacksonville's in my playoff picture. They're a wild card team, but Miami, they always do well at the beginning of the season when it's hot out. They're gonna come out firing. JB, give me the Dolphins. Then JB, we get to see the first game of Bo Nix, who I'm high on. So JB, who do you have? The Denver Broncos or the Seattle Seahawks?
I'm excited for Bo Nix,
Yep.
but I'm not too high on it. I'm not too high on the Broncos this year. I'm going to pick the Seahawks. I think Bo Nix is going to play good. He's going to play good, but I think Seahawks is going to play better football than what the Broncos will do. Because honestly, the Broncos really doesn't have the weapons anymore. They lost Jerry Jeudy to the Browns. And it's like, other than Jerry Jeudy, who does the Broncos really have as weapons? Really not much.
On Sutton. That's about it.
Oh, yeah, Sutton. But, I mean, honestly, he didn't even do good last year, so yeah, just give me the Seahawks.
I agree. I am high on Bo Nix, but this is a rebuilding season. Denver hit the restart button in an embarrassing fashion, giving up on that Russell Wilson disaster. They went out and got their guy, Sean Payton, and all that, but they got rid of a lot of their, like you said, they got rid of Jerry Jeudy. There's still a lot of holes on that roster. I don't expect them to be very competitive this year. In Seattle last year, I know Geno's not necessarily a superstar quarterback. But Seattle was only halfway. They were the next team behind Green Bay in the wild card. Green Bay and Seattle had the same record,
Mm-hmm.
9-8. Green Bay won on tiebreaker. So Seattle was a winning team last year. They have a good Arnold, who's the Ravens coach, and the Ravens no defense. So I think they're going to get the best. A good defense will get the best of a young quarterback. Give me Seattle. We didn't do it, JB. Sad. We have some different ones though. Who do you have in this one, JB? The Vegas Raiders. Still sounds weird. Never will get used to it. At the Los Angeles Chargers, which even sounds weirder. And it always will.
Let me look at something here real quick. Because I want to make sure I got this right. Because if I am correct, okay, that's what I figured. Justin Herbert might not play week 1. So, and you know what? I am going to pick the Raiders. Week 1. I think they're going for a no weapon, no defense Los Angeles Chargers. I think Coach Harbaugh is not going to do well his first game. Because he has no weapons. He has nothing. He doesn't have his star quarterback. Possibly not in week 1. And I think the Raiders. Are going to come out there and destroy that parade. So give me the Raiders week 1.
I agree. The Chargers, I've been burned on them many times, and I'm not doing it anymore. I'm tired of the Chargers. Chargers will continue charging until they prove otherwise. So I think Harbaugh is a job, but ultimately I think the Raiders are more prepared in this exact moment. They have they have Brock Bowers, they have good receiving weapons behind Devontae Adams, and of course Devontae Adams, who's one of the best receivers in the league. So I think they have better weapons than the Chargers do. I think their defense is going to be one of the best in the league. Antonio Pierce coached his butt off in the year last year. They won a lot of games, including defeating the Super Bowl champions on Christmas. And they added Gardner Minshew as their quarterback, who was a Pro Bowl quarterback last year with the Colts. The Colts had a winning record last year, JB, 9-8. So I think the Vegas Raiders are going to get the best of them. It's kind of a surprise pick, I think, but they're just a gritty football team. I think they're going to. They're going to win this game, JB. Then who do you have, JB? The Dallas Cowboys at the Cleveland Browns. Myles Garrett's Defensive Player of the Year, or what's it called? Going for a repeat. Yeah. Who do you got, JB?
Well, they don't got Nick Chubb. So, and yes, Deshaun Watson is the starting quarterback. But I don't think he's not going to do well. Once again, he had a few good seasons with Houston. Since that his massages just went a little too overboard. And I'm going to pick the Cowboys. Cowboys win week 1 over the Browns.
Really? Oh, and okay, JB's going with Cowboys.
Cowboys
CD-Lamb contract.
always play really good at the start of the season. Is when at the middle to the end of the season is when the Cowboys it's a roller coaster at the end of the season, or close to the middle of the end of the season. But for some odd reason, the Cowboys always is hot in the beginning of the seasons. So give me, and yes, they actually did a contract a a signing bonus for CD Lamb. And honestly, that's probably one of the best things they ever did during this offseason and during the preseason. They finally did something because they made no noise at all during the offseason, but they finally got a contract situated for CD Lamb. Good job,
The
Cowboys.
problem with Dallas, maybe, is beyond CD, they have no other weapons. They have some holes on their line. There's some question mark. There's a lot of question marks behind CD at receiver, and they have no running back. It's by committee. They have Zeke and a bunch of nobodies. So I'm actually going Cleveland here. They just like I said a few weeks ago, maybe I think any team in the AFC North could win that division, Cleveland included. I just think they're the worst team in that division because I question Deshaun Watson and Nick Chubb's will obviously be out for the first couple weeks. How's he going to look when he comes back?
Maybe more.
So this
They're
question,
talking about 4 weeks plus. He's going to be out
right?
for
So
probably for a lot longer than the 4 weeks. Honest, in my opinion.
but their defense last year put historical numbers up at home. This game's in Cleveland. Dallas lost a lot of their players on offense. Dak, I think Cleveland wins this game, JB. They have an outstanding defense at home. They have Amari Cooper at receiver. They made the playoffs last year with has-been Joe Flacco. We'll see what Deshaun Watson does. But despite of him, Cleveland has a good roster as a whole. They made noise without Deshaun Watson and Nick Chubb last year. So they have a good team, JB. I
I
think
think they just
they're
got
a
lucky
better roster.
last year. They got lucky last year.
I think they have a good roster. Their problem is they lack quarterback and that's the main thing, they lack quarterback. Consistency there. So give me Cleveland here based on how good their team from top to bottom is.
Well, I think the Cowboys defense is probably going to outshine the Browns offense, in my opinion, just because, I mean, Deshaun Watson's a quarterback. We see how he played last year. He was horrible last year. And when he got injured, I mean, for crying out loud, he wasn't even on the field. He was in the booth during the games. He wasn't on the field. And you want to say that is your star player? No, if it was anybody else, they would have stayed on the field and actually be with the team. But no, he was in the booth just watching the game, not being with his teammates, not doing nothing. He was in the booth. Probably the majority of the time that he was injured.
Even Aaron Rodgers was on the field when the Jets were getting their ass kicked late in the season with Zach Wilson and Tim Boyle. Even Aaron Rodgers is standing out there in the cold.
Yep. So
That little stuff, people might say we're crazy, but the little stuff like that matters.
helps win locker rooms. It really does. And I don't think, and I think it's just the fact it's. I think Deshaun Watson's he's done. Until he can prove me wrong, he's done. Clearly, what we've seen him play last year, he was horrible. Clearly, really horrible. It's like he didn't play for like what? How many seasons? 2, 3 seasons? 2 maybe.
He didn't play that whole one season because of he didn't play the whole one season because of the trade holdout, whatever you want, legal issues, whatever you want to call that. And then he was suspended for most of the next season. Played the last 3 or 4 games, remember? Came back from suspension. Didn't look very good either. And then came out last year, played like 3, 4, 5, 6 games sporadically. And yeah, we haven't really seen a lot of Deshaun Watson. To me, this is a make or break year for him. But I mean, they rotated quarterbacks all year long in Cleveland, and they still won double-digit games. So despite their quarterback situation, I think Cleveland's just better than Dallas is.
I don't know. I think if
I
you
do
don't
agree with
if you don't have a quarterback, then it's like, and I don't think Cleveland does not have a quarterback. Everyone's saying that
They don't.
Deshaun Watson is so great. It's like, yeah, when he was in Houston years ago, and now, like what? It's like he had plenty of time of resting and massaging, and yet, and you play like this. I mean, at least you would at least throw the ball during your suspension and all your legal actions. At least you would have done something. I don't think he didn't do nothing. I mean, clearly he did nothing. I don't even know how he did this preseason. I don't think he even played this preseason.
Nope, he did not.
There we
Imagine that,
go.
right? He's not
There
did
we
it.
go. He does nothing. So, and he's gonna do exactly what he did what he did last year. Horrible. He is going to play horrible. He's not going to be the same guy that he was in Houston. I can tell you that much. He's just a Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold did pretty good his first few seasons when he was a starting quarterback, and now he sucks. And now look at Deshaun Watson. He had some pretty good few seasons, pretty good with a crappy team in Houston. And now look, he sucks. He's not the same man he was back in whatever years it was. So there's my take on that.
And you're the Browns hater. I'll let you finish on that. With that, JB, it's the return of this. Who do you have? The Washington Commanders or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Are you going to take command or go with Baker Mayfield, Tom Brady Jr. going win Super Bowl?
I'm going to go. I think Jaden Daniels is going to look pretty good. But I do believe the Buccaneers are going to win week 1 because the Commanders really does not have a defense. They really don't.
They were literally the worst team in the league last year at defense.
Yep, exactly. And they're still going to be the worst team or worst defense in the league because they did nothing to upgrade that. Nothing. And to stop Mike Evans and that receiving core, no. I think Baker Mayfield is going to have a heyday. And so is Mike Evans. So, give me the Buccaneers.
I agree. I 100% agree. I doubted Baker Mayfield last year. I actually think the Commanders will surprise some people this year. I think Jane Daniels, Cliff Kingsbury, offensive coordinator, Dan Quinn, that defense I think will be better this year. I mean, how good Dallas' defense was last year. He stole a lot of players from Dallas, JB, in free agency. And I'm excited to see what Washington does. I think they'll be competitive, but Tampa Bay is coming off of a winning season where they won their division, made the playoffs. Baker Mayfield proved to be that guy. They have 2 good receivers. They're pretty much running it back. So they won a playoff game last year, JB. Give me Tampa Bay. They've proven it. Washington's all speculation. They could do this. Tampa Bay has done it. So give me the Buccaneers. Here's a good one, JB. Sunday Night Football, my friend. First of the year. Who do you
That's
have?
nice to hear.
The Los Angeles Rams at the Detroit Lions. It's a coming home party. 2 playoff teams from last year. That's a good first Sunday night game, JB. Who do you got?
It's going to be a tough game. I think they found a guy to they drafted the the defensive tackle. I forgot his name. But I think that guy is going to fill some pretty heavy shoes, but I think he's going to do it pretty well. But I'm going to pick the Lions. I'm picking the Lions on this one. It's going to be a really close game. I think it's going to be a offensive fest for both teams, but I think it's going to be the Lions that comes out on top.
And I agree. I mean, Detroit's my pick to go to the Super Bowl this year, and it's in Detroit. And Detroit beat the Rams last year in Detroit in the playoffs. So, and you got a Detroit team that pretty much is running it back on offense, and they addressed their secondary weakness in the draft. And Matt Stafford has been dealing with some small training camp injuries. I mean, Matt Stafford has an injury history. He's getting a little older. So let's monitor that. Detroit's the better football team, though. Give me the Lions. And here's maybe not the best game in the world, but definitely an interesting one, JB. Aaron Rodgers. Monday Night Football. The NFL has
Monday
learned
Night
absolutely nothing
Football.
because the NFL has absolutely nothing because last year they put him on Monday Night Football and that went well. So let's do it again against one of the best teams in the league at their stadium. That's a great idea. So who do you got, JB? The New York Jets at the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, let's hope that the Jets or Aaron Rodgers. Man,
JB went back in time.
I did go back in time.
I mean, they
I mean, he's
both played
playing.
for the Jets, so that's legit.
He's playing like Brett Favre. So I mean, he's filling Brett Favre's shoes. So won a Super Bowl. Ever since he won that Super Bowl, couldn't go back to the Super Bowl and try to go to the Jets and
Hey,
just wait, just wait. He's
hey,
going to be a Viking in probably in a few years.
hey,
So
hey. Brett Favre at least made it to a second Super Bowl. We just lost to John Elway. We at least made it.
true.
Aaron Rodgers would have too had Brandon Bostic. Never mind. We don't have time for that conversation. Anyway, JB.
Um, if Aaron Rodgers can outlast more than 4 snaps, but I think this Jets team is very young and very, very talented. I'm going to pick the Jets. I'm picking the Jets.
Okay. You know, I see what you're saying. Okay, because last year, people remember, if people can remember this far back, the night Aaron Rodgers got hurt opening night, the Jets won that game.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
Zach Wilson actually did pretty good.
right. I don't think the Jets win this game. They're in my playoff picture still. But San Francisco's in my playoff picture too, mind you, and they're the defending NFC champs. So I think San Francisco wins this game. It's at home. They're pissed they lost that Super Bowl. Their defense is still elite. Aaron Rodgers, we haven't seen him since he tore his Achilles. He's in his 40s. He's looking old, man. He's just looking old. I'm rooting for him. He's my favorite player of all time. I hope it goes well. I really do. I think the Niners win this game, but Rodgers does not get hurt, and he plays respectable. I don't think he's the Rodgers that me and you grew up watching, loving, and growing up. But I think he's still better than Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle, and whoever the hell they had last year. I think San Francisco wins a 7 to 10 point game. I don't think it's ever really a question who wins this game when it starts. But the Jets will keep it close because A-Rod, I love me some A-Rod, but give me the Niners. But Rodgers does not get hurt.
Okay.
With that, JB, we just concluded week 1 of the Unbiased Hard Take Season 2 Doordash competition, JB. We got some differences this week, my friend. We got some differences to start it out. Opening night's one of them, so I'm interested to see, JB. I'm excited.
I am. I am too. I mean, lot of different players and on different teams. I think it's going to be a good year.
I do. You know, week 1's the way we said it last year. It's always the weirdest week because you're going in blind. You are. You have nothing to go off of except headlines from the offseason, drafting, speculation, and free agency and preseason. That's all you have to go off of.
Mm-hmm.
So week 1's always the hardest week because there's always surprises. Not every team's going to be good that we think, and there'll be surprise teams. There always is every year. Look at the Texans. So I'm excited, JB, to see what week 1 brings, my friend.
Me too. It's going to be.
Oh, it's here. It's here.
Yep. It's going to be. I think it's going to be a great season. So
I do too, my friend. With that, JB, that's all we have for today's unbiased hard take. JB, to kind of do a subtopic here, we got about 30 seconds each here. College football started. Also, JB, Purdue plays Indiana State this weekend. Do you expect us to start 1-0? I mean, it is Indiana State. What do you think? What's your thoughts for Purdue football?
oh,
We got about 30 seconds here, JB.
I'm gonna say yes. I mean, it is Indiana State. They're not really that good of a football team. We did lose quite a bit of players for the NFL draft, but I think we're gonna start hot in week 1.
I do too. I mean, it's Indiana State. We'll win this game, I think. Ultimately, if we don't, it's gonna be a long season, JB. I don't have high expectations for Purdue football. I'm not the biggest Hudson Card fan. He's a disappointment, in my opinion. And we got Maccabee still, but I mean, we lost our coach. I don't think Ryan Walters is necessarily the
that was a
answer.
good decision, honestly. But we
Not
didn't
like
pick up a.
Ryan. I'm not a big Ryan Walters guy. I don't have high expectations this year. I'm always hopeful, but it is Indiana State, so considering that, I think we at least get the first game and start out 1-0. With that, JB, what do you got for the people, my friend? I mean, Doordash week 1, my friend. That's what we got. What do you got?
I don't really got anything. It's just the fact that it's football season. Let that's just sink in. It is football season, and it's back, baby.
It is. And with that, JB, there is some big news, sort of, to a point. Yes, like, subscribe, hit the bell. Yes, like us on Facebook. Do all of those things. Subscribe on YouTube, all of it. All of it. But also go check us out on Spotify. Go check us out on Spotify. We're not going to upload a lot of our previous stuff. That's just too much work. You can go YouTube for that. So we're going to start doing that as of this week and upload on Spotify because of our good friend JB here and his great creativity. So check us out on Spotify as well.
Yep. And a lot like I said on the live stream, a lot of things more to come.
Football, yes.
We're going to be upgrading on a lot of things, so yeah, just stay tuned.
It's finally here. It's finally here. So that's all I got. I'll end on this. As always, football's back. We got little advertisement cards at gas stations in our local area. We won't say where we live. We don't want you guys coming to kill us. So, if there's any crazies out there, you never know. So, we got Spotify up. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube always. So, we're out. We got business cards and gas stations. I'm excited, JB. We're making progress. So, I'll end on that note. As always, let's go Heat. Whaler up. This weekend, baby. Let's go. We'll get a recap of that game on Facebook and YouTube too. But most importantly, as always, go Pack, go baby. We'll see you guys in Brazil. Woohoo!
And I'm
going international. Going international.
Congratulations on an international game. But I'll end up on this. It's football season. Where the greatest, or at the middle of the year till the end of the year, is the best moment in American history. It's football. But let's go Heat. Let's go Purdue. And let's go Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll see you all next week.
Next week.